Hi everyone, Emily here from Emily Reads. Happy Easter to those of you who celebrate. Happy Passover for those of you. Hope you had a wonderful Passover for those of you who celebrate that. If you don't celebrate the holidays, I hope that you have an enjoyable, wonderful weekend. Today I have for you my ideas for the R Fantasy Bingo 2023. So if you're not aware of that, it is on Reddit, and every year from April 1st through March 31st, the following year, they do a fantasy sci-fi bingo. And there is like a regular mode, a hard mode, and then a hero mode. So I will be doing hero mode for all of these prompts. That's just post a review on Goodreads or post a review of it. So I'll be doing that on Goodreads. So I'll hit hero mode. Sorry. My asthma has decided it wants to kick in again. Hard mode, some of them I will be doing hard mode, some of them I won't. Simply because I'm trying to read books that I already own or have planned on reading. So last year I was going to do our fantasy bingo. It didn't happen because I ended up mood reading or reading other things. And like basically every reading challenge that I did just kind of went up in the air. Robin Hobb took over my life. This year, I'm hoping to do a little bit better. So I really have done well so far on the Flourish and Bots challenge. So that's awesome. The R Fantasy Bingo, I don't know how well I'm going to do on. About half of these books I'd already planned on reading. The other half I do want to read someday. I just didn't have plans for them this year. So we'll see if I finish this, but I have high hopes. That being said, let's get started. So the first row, the first prompt is title with a title. So, and then the hard mode is that the title is not that of royalty, so like no king. So I hope to read Dragon Reborn by Robert Jordan. Now, I plan on reading through the Cosmere, so a little slow. I still have The Great Hunt that I need to finish. That's what happens when you hit a reading slump, and then you hit readathons, and The Great Hunt just kind of falls to the wayside. But about halfway through The Great Hunt, and then I'll work on The Dragon Reborn. The next prompt in the first row is superheroes. And the hard mode is it can't be DC or Marvel. Not a problem for me because I don't read comics or manga. So that worked out well for me. And so for that, I'm going to read Vicious by V.E. Schwab, which I just haven't read yet. Sorry, I was looking at something. My copy. I think I bought this used. Maybe I bought it new. Then the next prompt is bottom of your TBR. And that would be Recursion by Blake Crouch. So I would like to read Recursion Upgrade by him. I just don't have any plans to read it anytime soon. Our Fantasy Bingo says you'll read it sooner than later. So that's why I'm choosing this. And also, like, I read Dark Matter and thought it was okay. It was okay. It wasn't great. So that's why this is kind of on the bottom of my TBR. Then the next prompt is magical realism or literary fantasy. And for hard mode, they have a list of books that you cannot select your book from. I don't remember if this book is on there or not. Either way, I'm going to read it because I own it and I need to knock it off my list. And that is Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. I have not read anything by her. I've heard really good things about this. I've also heard not so really good things about this. And I had a magical realism that I was working on earlier this month that would have fit for that prompt, and I DNF'd it. So Piranesi it is now. The next book is Young Adult. The hard mode is it's been published in the last 5 years. I am not going to go hard mode because I want to knock something off of my own TBR. And so for that, it's not Trickster's Choice. I'm going to read Trickster's Queen. I got downstairs and realized I left Trickster's Queen upstairs. So Trickster's Queen is the second book in the duology, and I read this book last month, so I need to finish off the duology. Then the second row, the first prompt is mundane job. Hard mode is not on Earth. I don't think this one will fulfill the hard mode. That's okay. I don't need to go for hard mode for everything. My goal right now is to try to complete the board and get a blackout using books, for the most part, that I already own. So that would be Senlin Ascends by Josiah Bancroft. And Senlin is a teacher. So it's sad that it's mundane, because it's really not. Like, if you're a teacher, you know that there's so many weird things that happens in a day. But that's why, but you know, mundane. The other option that I could use, I would love to read this book. I just need to get it. And that would be Bookshops and Bone Dust by Travis Baldree. I really want that book. The next book the prompt is published in the 2000s. And I honestly don't know what the hard mode is. I don't have that written down. And so for that, I'm going to use The Three-Body Problem by Cixin Liu. Again, because the reason why I'm using this is I already have this for another reading challenge that I want to read this for. Actually, I have this for 2 other reading challenges that I want to read this for, so that's why I'm putting this on there. The next prompt is Angels and Demons, and hard mode is that a character has to be an angel or a demon in the book. Hard mode is that it is the main protagonist. So for that, I'm going to do Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. And the blurb line in the front cover is, imagine an angel and the devil fell in love. I think that fits Angels and Demons. The next prompt is 5 science fiction fantasy short stories. And the hard mode is that you read the entire collection. So for that, I'm going to read Robin Hobb and Megan Lindholm. They are the same person. And The Inheritance and Other Stories. I got this early in the year. It is signed. My copy is signed. Look at that. Uh-oh. Let's pull that out. I'm sorry. I just have to show this off because Robin Hobb has become my favorite author. So there is a Realm of the Elderlings short story in here. So I'm for sure want to read that, and then I'll just read the rest of the book. The next prompt is horror, and the hard mode is that it's not Stephen King or H.P. Lovecraft. So I'm going to do the hard mode on this because I'm going to read The Passage by Justin Cronin. I'm assuming this is horror. I know it's post-apocalyptic. I think there are vampires in here. I've owned this. This could also be on the bottom of my TBR. I could use that for that prompt. And for bottom of TBR, there is no hard mode for that prompt. But I could use this as bottom of the TBR because I have owned this. I bought this book at a used book sale at the Homewood Public Library when I used to live there. I haven't lived in the suburbs for 10 years now. I've had this for 10 years and I have yet to read it. So it is time. And I've started it and stopped it, not even finishing the first chapter multiple times. So it's not that the book was bad, just mindset for me. The next book is self-published or indie publisher. And I really don't read a whole lot of self-published or indie authors. I have to confess that. I am reading one right now, but I'm using that book for another prompt on this board. So the one that I think I'm going to read instead is Touch of Light by Tiago Abdallah. I think I got his last name wrong. So please, in the comments below, correct me on the last name. I don't have the book in front of me. I have it on Kindle Unlimited. But he is an author who has been in several different online communities that I'm a part of. So I want to show him some support. The next book the next prompt is set in Middle East. And the hard mode is author has that heritage. And for that, I'm going to read Master of Gin by P. Jelly Clark. And I was supposed to read this last year for this, and it didn't happen. But this is set in Cairo, so it's set in the Middle East. The next prompt is published in 2023. Hard mode is debut novel. And so for that, I'm going to use Way of Edan by Philip Chase. This could also be used for self-published. He did self-publish this. So I'm already on page 126. After I finish filming this video, I gotta make some more progress in this. The next book is the next prompt is Multiverse or Alternate Realities. The hard mode is that you don't go through a door to get to that multiverse or alternate reality. I am not going for hard mode because I already wanted to read this year for another reading challenge, and that would be 11/22/63 by Stephen King. So this for sure is a alternate reality multiverse book. It is a portal, like you have to go through a door. But I don't care. I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not doing hard mode for all these books. Then the next book, or the next prompt is Person of Color. Wrote the book. And then the hard mode is it takes place in a sci-fi world. So Earth's Parable of the Talents fits both prompts, the hard mode as well. I read Parable of Solar earlier, so I want to finish that duology. Then the next prompt is on the fourth row. The next prompt is that it was an R fantasy book club or read along book, and then the hard mode is that you participate in like a discussion of it. I'm not going for hard mode on this, but I do plan on reading Bear and the Nightingale. Yes, I know this is the second book. I do not own the Bear and the Nightingale in physical format, although I would like to have it in physical format, just because I like physical books better. Just the format, I like it better. But I do have it on my Kindle, so I will be reading that. Then the next prompt is novella. Hard mode is nottor.com. I think this fits the hard mode. But I saw this at the library recently and checked it out, and that's Tread of Angels by Rebecca Roanhorse. So I'll be reading that soon. Let me set that aside. Then the next book is Mythical Beasts. Hard mode is Not Dragons. I have a lot of books that involve dragons, so this for sure was hard. But then I realized Words of Radiance doesn't have dragons as far as I know. I haven't read it yet. But in Way of Kings, there were no dragons. There were chasm fiends and there were spren. Those are mythical creatures. But as far as I know, no dragons so far. So for right now, Words of Radiance is going to work. And I actually, that was the last block on this bingo card that I filled out and figured out. And I looked at it, I'm like, wait, I don't have any Brandon Sanderson. Will a Brandon Sanderson novel fit in here? Because I'm working my way through the Cosmere, and he's got to be on here somewhere. So there's that. The next prompt is Elemental Magic, and hard mode was not Shades of Magic or Codex Alera. And I originally was like, well, screw it. I'm going to not worry about hard mode. I'm going to do Shades of Magic. But then I realized this has been on my TBR for months. The 5th season is Elemental Magic. So we're going to read the 5th season. The next prompt is Myths and Retelling. Hard mode is not Greek or Roman. I'm not going to go for the hard mode because I want to knock off some more of my Book of the Month books. And so I'm going to read Ariadne. And so this for sure is Greek retelling. So sorry about that. But I'll be able to knock out a Book of the Month book. And then the last row, the first prompt is queer norm setting. So a setting where being queer is just normalized and not a big deal, is how I'm understanding this prompt. And by not a big deal is like people don't make comments on it. It just is. And then hard mode is that it's not futuristic. Did I get that right? And did I explain that right? I hope I did. So for that, I've already finished it, and I finished it this month, so it works. I read The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy. So there are two couples, not the main protagonists, but there are two couples that do fit this prompt. So then the next prompt is coastal or island setting. And the hard mode is that it's also seafaring. And so from what I understand, the adventures of Amina al-Sarafi would apply. If you like Robin Hobb, because I have to give a shameless plug for that, the Live Ship Traders series would fit because Bingtown is a coastal setting. It's on the coast of a river. And I would assume. And there's also the Pirate Isles. This is island setting. There's the other island setting. It's also seafaring because they're on ships. So, but I've already read Live Ship Traders, and I'm trying to do it where you could have one reread. And so I'm trying to do it where these are all new books to me. So the next prompt is Druids, which I had to look up what books would have druids in it. The hard mode is it can't be a specific series. And honestly, I don't remember what that series is because I didn't write it down. So I apologize for that. But for hard mode, I'm going to read The Winter King by Bernard Cornwell. This also could have fit on the bottom of my TBR because I honestly, I got this at my used bookstore or at the home, or I got this at my library sale, and the reason why I picked it up was because I'd heard some people talking about it on BookTube, but I didn't have any plans to read it anytime soon. But I knew that it looks brand new, it was for $1, so I wanted to grab it because I knew eventually I would pick it up. The next prompt is features robots, and the hard mode is that the robot is the protagonist. So this book will fit that prompt. Now, here's the deal. I don't know what the rules are for our fantasy bingo if it has to be all adult books, because there is one square that says is specific to young adults. I don't know if that's a thing where you have to read only adult books, because this for sure is not an adult book. This is a middle grade book. But when you find this pretty much brand new copy of this popular book, and it's $1, you buy it. And that is The Wild Robot by Peter Brown. I have not read it, but I've heard really good things and really cute things. So this for sure would fit the hard mode. And last but not least is a sequel. Hard mode is book 3 or more in a series, which that works really easy for me because I have a few long series that I'm reading right now. But I wanted it to be... Ooh, I could have put a Brandon Sanderson book here, but I've got Words of Radiance. So, if I didn't already have Words of Radiance on here, I could easily have put Bands of Mourning down. But I already have Words of Radiance, so I can't repeat an author. So, therefore, I'm going to do Deadbeat by Jim Butcher, which is book 6 of the Dresden File, and which is really sad because that I was like, ooh, let's put Deadbeat down because I've been enjoying the Dresden Files, and in looking through all of my stuff, I realized I don't have Dresden down. Now, also, my light just went out. Sorry about that, folks. My ring light just lost power. I don't know why. So that is why you have that dramatic shift of light right there. That was my ring light went out, and why I was like, what just happened? And so I apologize for the lighting. It is it's 5 o'clock now. And so I only have one window in my living room. So I apologize for the lighting now. But that being said, that is kind of what I'm planning for the R Fantasy Bingo. The nice thing with this is that there are 25 prompts. Oh my gosh. There are 25 prompts. There's 12 months. So I need to read 2 books a month. I think I could do that and finish this. My big concern is I still have other books in a bookshelf of things that I want to read for other challenges. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that this will happen. And like I said, so my goal right now is my primary focus with this Our Fantasy Bingo is to read through the books that also apply to other reading challenges. So we'll see how much progress I make on this. Try not to put pressure on myself, but I also want to finish it because I want to be like, yes, I finished it. So that's it. Hope you liked this video. Let me know, of all those books, what are books that you think I should prioritize reading? Like, I know for sure I'm going to prioritize reading Words of Radiance. But is there anything else that I really need to make sure that I'm prioritizing reading? Have a wonderful rest of your weekend.